beso, quisiera darte eso, solo hazme sentir que tú también sabes que quiero entregarme en alma y cuerpo.
Good evening, welcome to Living Arts. I'm your host, Jackie Suarez. Thank you for tuning in. I'm delighted to bring to you good friends of the show, Embark Peekskill. We have Soul Miranda, Alyssa Borg, Gerry Cruz. They're all participants and organizers for the Embark Peekskill Festival that's happening in October 5th, 6th, and 7th. So I'm going to let Soul give you the details on that. Welcome back, guys.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you for having Embark again, and this time promoting our Embark second annual Performing and Literary Arts happening on October 5th, 6th, and 7th. It will be happening at different venues downtown and at the Peekskill Middle School Theater. As well, we will have local talent and also from the neighboring towns and from New York City, such as Alyssa here. And in terms of the kinds of performances that we will have, it will be a variety, a wonderful variety of performers and performances. We have theater, we have music, we have dance, we have 2 literary events with local writers, and we are so excited that we are, showing off our local talent in such great light. So Peekskill will be shining that weekend, and also the businesses will be shining as well, because we are trying to promote them. Gleason's, Beale Street Barbershop will be a venue. Dylan's Cellar will be providing a wine tasting.
Right,
exactly.
Down by South Street.
Yeah. And Energy Movement Center on 925 South Street has become Embark Peekskill new home. So now we're calling it the first floor, the dance studio, we're calling it Embark at EMC. So that's the main venue of the festival. And as I said, Beale Street Barbershop, also Division Street Grill, North Division Street itself will be the venue for the outdoors concert finale on the last day.
You're going to have one of those little band shells there, and
we'll have the showmobile.
The showmobile.
Yes, the restaurants on Division Street will benefit greatly from that. And Gary will be in concert. Gerry, sorry.
It's Gerry Cruz.
Sorry, Gerry, that's what happens to a producer who is very exhausted.
It's okay, not a problem.
Happily exhausted.
Happily exhausted, yes, absolutely.
Gerry Cruz.
Thank you.
And his band G21 Soul.
Thank
See,
you,
I didn't forget that.
So I think, we just want to recap what the mission of Embark is for our audience. Maybe you could just explain that, and the artist member part of the organization.
Absolutely. Thank you for asking that, because Embark 2 years ago, Katie Schmidt-Fader and I, we are mothers. We moved to Peekskill to create, to start our new families. We are professional theater artists who have been acting in New York City, in the regional theater, even, around the world. Katie mostly in musical theater, but also what we say straight, legit theater. Myself as well in the Hispanic theater and also other. And when we decided to start our families and we kind of bumped into each other at a pre-K setting, we said, we need to really mobilize the performers and the writers, and we need a space, because we lack a local, intimate venue where we can really gather, collaborate, nurture ourselves, and also perform and rehearse. So that's how the idea was born of creating a coalition of performers and writers with the vision to establish and develop a performing arts center here for Peekskill. Now, we have added to that this is also a community effort.
Right.
So community supporters are invited to this vision, to this journey, Embark Peekskill, and we want to collaborate with businesses as well. And we are a not-for-profit organization, and we are looking forward to collaborate with other arts alliances companies, solo artists that may not want to join as a member, but we are definitely into collaboration. In terms of the membership, we have new members. Gerry is a member. Alyssa is probably becoming a member soon.
She's on the fence.
We're giving her some time. But in terms of membership, of course, the members, for just $25 for the whole year, the members will benefit from having a space, and that is EMC.
Okay, so they get to use the space.
Yes.
And we also, whatever events that you're planning, of course, they'll have an opportunity to showcase whatever skills they have.
Exactly. And we are looking forward to not only, I mean, the space already, there are teachers there teaching dance, acting, etc., karate. So there are those who already have been there and are still teaching there, but then now with Embark managing the space for Darby Melnick, who we are so grateful to her because she really invited us to come to that space, to manage it as well, but to use it because she understood, she got it that Embark was about establishing a home and a venue for our local performers. Something, I mean, the Paramount is great, but the Paramount does not offer that intimacy in terms of space.
For smaller projects.
Exactly, for smaller projects that we really need to keep, collaborating and also nurturing our own craft.
It's so very important.
Yes.
So I definitely wanted for people to understand that. Sometimes I guess when the idea of Embark Peekskill is lost on some, and although they may read about it, it still doesn't quite come home to them what it is that you're trying to do.
Right. Well, we're not a theater company,
right?
Or a dance company or a music group. What we do is that we gather those artists under an umbrella,
right?
Under a coalition or an association. I don't know, whatever word works for you. The one that came to us first was
coalition.
That coalition. But basically, you can also see it as an umbrella. You remain autonomous to do your own thing wherever you want to go. And I think that's actually very, very beneficial for any artist who is a member of an alliance or an organization such as this one, because you go out into the world to do other things, to train with other people, to collaborate with other people. And then when you come back, you nurture and you bring more and offer more to that other organization you belong to. So I think it makes us greater and bigger.
Stronger, for sure.
And stronger, yes, yes.
So now I understand you are a Texas native.
Indeed.
Came to New York and then found your way up here to Peekskill. How did that happen?
I actually started my own soap company when I was in New York. I started my own bath and body products company named Macbeth Body. And
I guess I'm sorry to interrupt. I should have started with your Alyssa Borg.
Yes, Alyssa
an
Borg.
actress.
Thank you.
That is going to be participating in the festival.
Yes.
So please
I'm
continue.
Be performing Sunday, October 7th at 3 p.m. With my friend. It's through Willful Pictures. The show is called Ophelia. It's a Hamlet spoof. It's directed by my good friend Melinda Hall and written by her as well. She's currently working on a documentary called How Shakespeare Changed My Life. So she's had the privilege of interviewing F. Mary Abraham, the late Ray Bradbury, Sir Ben Kingsley, all these amazing names, and just kind of talking to these actors one-on-one about how Shakespeare changed their lives. So it's been a privilege working with her. I got to meet her in Austin. She moved to New York. I moved to New York soon after. So the piece Ophelia is actually something that we worked on in Austin. We did it for the 2008 Frontera Fest, which is a Newark festival. It won Best of the Week there. And we kind of just, put it on the back shelf for a while. And then I moved to Peekskill about 3 months ago. I found out about Embark because I was going to EMC, the Energy Movement Center. I contacted Sol and Katie, and we got it started, and so here I am.
So now, the piece was written by?
Melinda Hall.
Melinda Hall, right.
Yes.
Okay. So who else is in it with you?
My friend Brian Shepard. He is also an actor from New York City. It's a two-person sketch. it definitely it takes lines from Hamlet, but it's also still a spoof, so it's definitely comedic, a little melodramatic, and it's basically Ophelia kind of telling Hamlet she's preggers. So
it's largely a comedy.
Yeah, it's absolutely a comedy. We had a rehearsal a couple days ago, and it was pretty great. Yeah, so it's a comedy, it's a spoof, but it still gets across the point that Shakespeare is accessible to everyone, and it's not a matter of putting on a time period or an overwhelming idea. It's two people on stage expressing an event or emotions, a thing going on between them.
Right.
And it's, you can work it with comedy, you can work it with drama. And because she actually is using Shakespearean text in there, the audience gets it. And there's no need to kind of overplay it.
Because, the larger theme of Hamlet, of course,
Right.
most people are familiar with.
Yeah.
I know. What's your favorite Shakespeare play?
I actually really love Much Ado About Nothing. Cool. I'm huge. I am sketch comedy actress. I love that over the top kind of stuff. I think Much Ado has a lot of heart to it, but honestly there's so many good moments throughout all of it. Yeah. It's just every performance is totally different. Every company you work with is completely different. So
you should have seen this one at the Fairy Festival.
I heard. I was out of town, unfortunately.
Quite interesting.
I heard it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I think I'm going to patent.
Yeah, you need to. You need
my
to.
Puerto Rican puck. Yeah.
Now, moving forward, what might be like another project that you'll be in?
Well, I'd love to continue working with Embark. Honestly, I'm really moved by Shakespeare. I've been doing some voiceover, so I'm trying to get back into that a little bit more.
Okay.
But really, actually, getting Shakespeare involved in schools a bit more than what it is. Because like I was talking about, it is really accessible. It's not this old archaic language that everyone thinks it is.
Right.
And depriving our students of that is a huge travesty. So
I think the reading list, not to date myself, but the reading list has changed quite a bit.
Yes.
What do you mean?
I remember like Beowulf. You say Beowulf to somebody.
Oh.
And they're like, what the heck is that?
They're like that movie with Jared Butler.
There was just certain things, Catcher in the Rye, all various things that, that are just simply not being, put on reading lists, or maybe they've become antiquated in some way. But that was, maybe I had more formal education. I went to Catholic school, but we had to get Macbeth. We had to memorize, a soliloquy in there, and I still remember it.
Yeah.
Julius Caesar.
Yeah.
I was going through those lines too.
Yeah.
Friends, Romans, countrymen.
Yeah.
Lend me your ears. Yeah.
Right? It's something that stays with you forever.
Forever.
Well, and especially when you see a really good performance of it.
Yes.
When you see a really good performance of it, that it is there. It's burned into your memory, and you will never forget it.
Absolutely. So, I'm looking forward to seeing you in that.
Thank you.
Yes, I cannot wait.
I'm very excited.
And I want to talk to you more about this soap. Did you bring any samples?
I unfortunately did not. I can give you a card after the show, though.
I'm only
Go
kidding.
to macbethbody.com. Check it out.
There you go, right?
Macbeth Body.
Okay. So,
I
Mr.
like the
Cruz.
name. Yeah,
Is
see?
that right? It's appropriate. So, Mr. Cruz, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
G21 Soul.
Yes.
So, what is that all about?
Basically, it's a combination of R&B, reggae, soul, Latin swing, a little bit of jazz, and musicians I brought together. I've opened up for Shaka Khan, Stevie Wonder. I've opened up for Mark Anthony, India. I started my musical career basically in the Southside market, and recorded with musical production in Sony Music Division, and a group called Face to Face, which is a salsa pop group, and we created songs like I Believe I Can Fly. We did it in Spanish with salsa feel. We did a lot of Tony Braxton, Boyz II Men. So basically, the radio stations they kind of dug that, and okay, let's do that. We toured all over the place. We did our first recording in Puerto Rico, the first album in Puerto Rico, and the video in Puerto Rico, and we had really good success and airplay here. That was a different part, and this group here is just a combination of everything, basically all the elements together. Salsa, like I said, reggae. We have reggae, jazz, funk, R&B, soul, and it's just a collaboration for everyone coming together and just do what you got to do.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Give us a little insight into your musical background. How did you come to?
I trained at Broadway Dance Theater. I did a lot of hip hop back in those days. The Bronx Theater, little theater school in the Bronx as well. It doesn't exist anymore. And just basically just learning the roots. My father was he was Puerto Rican, but in my household we listened to anything from country to whatever. And that was basically my roots, or my love for the music and all genres. And so that's basically.
So was at that time, it was something that you were trying to be affiliated with, like Terror Squad and
yeah,
those
basically,
guys?
Yeah.
Because Spanish people only started doing hip hop at a certain point.
Right. Right. Right.
So, and I remember that clearly.
Fat Joe and
exactly.
That that was huge. I mean, to transition to have a Latino to actually do that was very it was cool, really.
So now did that evolve into Pitbull?
I think so. Pitbull has a totally different.
What's that about?
Yeah, he's a totally different style of Miami type music and rap. So it just me personally, I'm not a big fan. But it's like reggaeton, but more of a.
That's Puerto Rico.
Yeah. Yes.
Now,
yes.
Is he considered an MC?
He's considered an MC.
He sings though. He sings.
He doesn't sing.
Okay,
no,
so
he has a lot of singers who actually do recordings, like Neo. One of his hits was with Neo vocals, and then Pitbull will actually MC and do most of the rapping. That's all he does. It's just rap. Yeah. Okay. But he uses a lot of known artists to do the vocals on that. So, but not a big fan.
Not a big fan?
Not a big fan.
Who's somebody that you're following, or who's
to be honest,
what are you listening to in your car?
I listen to a lot of old school stuff. Stevie Wonder's my favorite. That's like my mentor. I love Stevie Wonder. I listen to some of the writings of R. Kelly. I don't like his politics, but some of his writing.
Yeah, the Chocolate Factory left a little bad taste in my mouth at some point too.
Yes, absolutely.
We won't get into why.
Well, I listen to just top 40 sometimes with Neo. I listen to Usher, but basically the old school stuff still is you can't
I'm kind of the same way, and it's a shame because I think sometimes because I don't listen to the radio.
Right.
And I'm just hearing the same old music all the time. It's like I'm out of touch with things. Because there was a period where I was watching MTV quite a bit. And I've stopped doing that.
That just got
It's like it turned into just like TV shows.
Right. Exactly.
You gotta have a kid. You gotta.
What?
She's like, no.
Let me explain. Right, I'm sorry. No, because kids will listen to what's going on now.
Right.
And then they'll keep you up to date. I am a mother, so my 11-year-old is keeping me, with the pop.
Well, I mean, my niece is listening to Katy Perry, some
Correct.
other artists, and just not my thing.
I hear you.
I don't know if I can
just
move
in
forward.
case if you want to be updated once in a
be
while.
updated, right? They ought to have like a news update. Like, this is what's happening.
Right.
These are the best artists. So if you were going to write, if you were going to write something like that,
absolutely.
Who would you include on that list?
I would include John Legend.
Okay.
I like John Legend. I went to see him in concert few times. I like Pink. I like her music. I like what she's about. I like her energy on stage. I think she's awesome. And it's just rare. I mean, there's not too many that I actually can say, like I'm not a big fan of some of the styles of hip hop that's coming from the South. That's not my flavor. But yeah, right. John Legend would be probably someone that I would put on that bill.
Put on that bill?
Yeah.
So what brings you to Embark?
I met Soul at a Peekskill event.
Peekskill celebration.
Celebration, that's right.
She was stalking you.
And she was there when we spoke, and I really yeah, right.
I was not stalking him.
She's hiding behind trees.
Right.
I was really.
With the
I was
postcards.
intrigued. Yeah, she was right.
No.
Big poster.
No, we had a nice table with our banner, and you were just walking by with your wife.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And who is a theater artist,
right.
and I had No, I had not worked with her, but she directed one of the plays by Peekskill Children's Theater.
Right,
She
CTC.
still directs for
Yes,
them. And my daughter was in one of those plays 2 years ago.
Okay.
So I had met her, and all of a sudden we were
We
like,
had a
hi.
really good conversation.
And then you jumped in.
Right, and I was intrigued by what they're doing. You know, the fact of just putting everyone together. Not even you know, you have a membership fee, but it's not about that. Their whole concept and idea is bringing artists from all genres, from puppetry, vocalists, musicians, actresses. You know, it's so, you know, you in this area as well. I mean, you don't have a lot of organizations that do that. So I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. You know, and Soul is just. She's the hardest working woman on Peekskill, I'll tell you that much.
No.
'Cause she
And Katie.
really,
And Katie.
and Katie as
Hardest working
well.
woman in show business.
In show business,
Yeah,
there you
sure.
go.
So now, where are you living in the city?
I live in Cortland, Manor,
Okay.
right.
And so, what is your hope moving forward for the band?
I hope to, we're in the process of recording, doing some more recordings, but also enjoy being part of an organization that I can actually also teach. You know, use my experience as a musician in the business field of music as well, because I've had 20 plus years, and I know what it is to, unfortunately, what the good and the bad. But I would love to be part of just teaching our youth, you know, in the area, and giving them a sense of you can do this, but be careful with what you sign, and be careful of what the type of genre of music and things like that. It's kind of hard to actually put together, but that's my thing is just
Teaching.
Yeah.
You're basically
Right.
Want
You should
to
do that at EMC.
Absolutely.
Offer workshops
Absolutely,
there. That's
I
your
will
space.
absolutely do
Yeah,
that. I
absolutely.
was doing also African. I'm also a percussionist, so I was teaching African drumming, Latino drumming to some of the elementary schools in the city and in Cortland for a few. So that's
Now we know.
still in the blood. Yeah, right.
Well, and I think also going off of that too, is that, you know, just teaching kids that there are more careers out there than what your teachers tell you there are.
Right.
There are more options out there, you know, and try everything.
Right, exactly.
Just try it. Do you like it? Oh, awesome. Do it.
Right.
You know?
Well, being exposed, being exposed to a lot of the music I went as a kid. Some of these children, I mean, all they listen to is what was being played on the radio, and they're not exposed to opera, to fusion, right. You know, to them, you know, they're just. They think basically J-Lo is salsa to them, you know, when in
That's
actuality,
a shame.
Yeah, exactly. when in actuality, that's
That's
not
a real
the
shame.
case. That's not the case. So it's it
Yeah, to
is a
even
shame.
say that
Yeah,
is
it's a
crazy.
shame. I didn't.
But you know, I've had people tell me that, you know, I was like, well, who's an artist that's really influenced you that you really like? And they'll say something like Jodeci. And I was like, if
Yeah,
that's as
Jodeci.
far back as you're gonna
Jodeci,
take
I
it.
remember
I don't
Jodeci.
know
They were
what
in the
that is.
'90s.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a Boys to Men type group. Nothing against Jodeci or the people that like Jodeci.
No.
But to reference that as someone, well, I
To
mean, hey,
look up
to
to,
each,
yeah.
Alpha and
to,
Omega.
to each his own.
Right.
Yeah, so,
Ooh, that sounded quite an oxymoron right there.
so G21 Soul is going to be performing October 7th at 5 o'clock.
Yes.
Tell me more about the free concert and what's going to be, you know, shaking over there.
Okay, well, the free concert will happen on North Division Street on what they call Restaurant Row, and our wonderful restaurants are sponsoring. We're so happy about that. We were going to have the showmobile. The restaurants are gonna get their tables out there, and from 5 to 8, we're gonna have Scarlett Antonia's The Whiz Kids. And they will be performing songs from their soon-to-be produced The Wizard of Oz production. And then after the Whiz Kids, we have the Rising Stars Youth Company from Yonkers. And they will also perform some excerpts from Hairspray. So that you have two youth companies performing songs from, you know, two well-known musicals, but then it shifts into a more adult musical engagements, and that's when Gerry Cruz and G21 Soul will start playing with his entire fusion music. And
No, that's good.
to stop the list, right?
like
And then following Gerry and G21 Soul, we'll have Brian Delma Taylor, Peekskill based and world-renowned flautist and composer. Brian Delma Taylor and Shaka will perform their pretty much world music they've been working on for, I believe, the past year.
Okay. Because they're collaborating on a CD, right? So they have a
Correct.
CD coming out.
Correct. And so basically, we also have actually, right after the Rising Stars, we're in the process of talking with this wonderful quartet, Chordsmen. So they'll bring this other more classical aspect.
You
if
described
you
it
will.
as a barbershop quartet.
Almost like a barbershop quartet. Yes. And with, a different feel, a different offering. Because after all, I love carnivals. I love Peekskill Celebration. I love Carnival. However, this is a performing and literary arts festival, so we want to offer variety and also different levels of sophistication, because I think we have, a lot of people that will enjoy that as well, Also, I wanted, if I may add, I forgot during the beginning of the show that we have an amazing New York City company.
I was going to remind you about that.
Thank you.
The festival is going to be kicked off by the Spanish version of Pinocchio.
Yes. Teatro Sea is a bilingual musical theater company that has been offering great entertainment to all families, but it's specialized for children for the past 25 years. And they have their own theater in Manhattan in the Lower East Side. And right now they are performing Viva Pinocho, a Mexican Pinocchio. And we are so lucky here in Peekskill that the Peekskill School District, along with the dual language program and Embark, are partnering to bring that show here. Of course, we need to have the tickets to be purchased, right? Because we need to pay the theater company, and we need to, pay other expenses. And it's a pricey subject, but it's worth it. So
I think it's worth it.
Oh, absolutely.
And I'm going to have to cut you off because we've run out of time.
Sorry.
And thank you all for coming here. This has been
Thank you.
terrific. I'm looking forward to going to the festival. I think everybody should. And it's a nice thing to enjoy with your family and support a local group that really has the best intentions for our town.
EmbarkPeekskill.com.
EmbarkPeekskill.com. I want to thank you all for tuning in. It's always a pleasure. You can catch some information about current events and old shows on my website, Living Arts in Westchester, and see old episodes on my YouTube channel, the same name. Peace, and we'll speak to you soon. Good night.
Si me pudieras decir algo que me hiciera pensar en las cosas que me dices. Yo quisiera darte un beso, quisiera darte eso. Solo hazme sentir que tú también sabes que quiero.